Good job, Annabelle. You made a great movie. Nice job. Hey everyone, welcome to another review. And here's my review for the movie Annabelle Creation. Yes, Annabelle Creation stars Stephanie Sigman, Lulu Wilson, and Miranda Otto. And this movie is directed by David F. Sandberg, the guy who previously directed the movie Lights Out. A very good, very underrated, very surprising horror film that came out last year. And now he's directing Annabelle Creation, which is a prequel to Annabelle, which was a prequel to The Conjuring. So it's a prequel to the prequel. And yes, this is now part of the Conjuring universe because apparently if the MCU can do it, almost every franchise can create their own cinematic universe. That's like a thing now we're in. Now we have the Conjuring universe, which consists of Conjuring, Conjuring 2, Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, and you know what? 3 out of 4 ain't half bad because I love Conjuring, I love Conjuring 2, they're great horror films, probably some of the best modern horror films to date. Annabelle was a huge pile of ass, but this movie, Annabelle Creation, it did the Ouija Origin of Evil. It was really freaking good. Just like Ouija Origin of Evil, I didn't think that movie would be any good because Ouija is a shitty, one of the worst horror films of this decade. Ouija is such a stupid and generic film. And Ouija Origin of Evil, the first 2 acts of that movie, is like solid filmmaking, and then it just lost me in the 3rd act. What a disappointing ending for me. Like, that was a great movie. I did not like the ending to that film, but it's still, all in all, a great film and a big, huge surprise. And Annabelle Creation is an even bigger surprise. Like, I knew this movie would be pretty good because this movie's directed by David F. Sandberg, and I know he's a very talented horror filmmaker, and this movie got, like, really early reviews, like, a month ago, and people were praising this film, and yeah, I was going to this movie with some very high expectations, and I'm glad I did, because Annabelle Creation is a really good, really spooky, almost old-school feeling horror film, and yeah, this movie feels like it came out like the 1980s and stuff. Like, this is a genuinely creepy, edgy, atmospheric horror film. And yeah, I loved every second of this movie. This is a really good, very solid horror film, and it really creeped the hell out of me. Yeah, the story of this movie is about this couple who lost a daughter, and basically they take in these orphan girls so they can take their mind off the death of their daughter, but then they get haunted by a creepy demonic doll named Annabelle, and then shit starts getting a little creepy and stuff. And yeah, this movie co-stars Lulu Wilson as one of the little girls, and she was actually in Ouija Origin of Evil, and now she's in this movie. So apparently if you put Lulu Wilson in your horror film's going to get better, because you know what, she's actually very good in this movie. She's great in the Ouija movie, and she was very good in this film. And actually, a lot of these actors, other than Miranda Otto, who's in this film, not a huge role, but she's in it and she does a good job, but a lot of these actors are very no-named actors, and honestly, they do a very good job. Like Stephanie Sigman, I'm not very familiar with this actress, but she gives a very good performance in this movie. The entire cast is really good in this movie, and they're all very interesting, very likable, and very realistic horror movie characters. They're not stock horror movie characters that are just in this movie to die. They are actual real-life people, and it feels like they're real people being haunted by this really ghostly thing, and like, yeah, demonic, ghostly, tomato, but yeah, it's a really unsettling story. And you care about the story because the story's so well executed and directed, and you care about the characters because they're portrayed by good actors, and there's a good script, and these characters are fleshed out and real people, and that's why I genuinely really liked this movie. This movie, again, is directed by this director who did Lights Out, who knows tension and atmosphere and scares, and yeah, this movie's actually better than Lights Out. Lights Out was a very good movie, but this one relied heavily on more atmosphere, more character interactions. Lights Out was a good movie, but it was a very short film, and it was really right to the point. This one relies heavy on story building and atmosphere and character development and stuff, and this is a much longer film than Lights Out. So I really had to get invested with the characters because we're with them for almost 2 hours. So when shit hits the fan, I need to give a shit about the characters, and I did. It was well developed, they had good character interactions, they had good chemistry with each other, they all worked great together. And again, no named actors, but they all give really solid performances. And again, David F. Sandberg deserves almost all the praise because this is such a well-structured film and really well done. There's no jump scares, and when there is a jump scare, it is not a false scare, it is a genuine jump scare that something is actually scaring them, like Insidious and stuff. I can tell this director borrowed a lot of tropes from James Wan, like Conjuring and Insidious. He borrowed a lot of those atmospheric moments, and even when he does with the score, it feels very genuine and very eerie, very creepy, and very unsettled. And there is some really unsettling imagery in this film. Like, there's some stuff I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? Like, there was just a lot of moments I was like, oh my god, I was like half off my seat watching this movie. It is just downright unpleasant and unsettling, and I loved it. I just loved every second of it. It was just so freaking good. The flaws of this movie is there are moments that are a bit cheap. Like, there's some moments that I'm like, okay, that's a bit of a cheap scare. In this movie, they put a little bit of a special effects in the film, and it looks very noticeable and stuff. And near, like, the very ending of the film, there's a couple moments I'm like, oh, that could have worked a little better if you put a little more atmosphere in it. And also another problem, this is mostly due to the marketing, the trailers for the movie kind of spoils a few things, which I did not like. So don't watch any trailers for Annabelle and stuff. So yeah, don't watch that. Don't watch the trailers. But other than that, this movie is really solid. I thought the performances were really good. There were some genuinely creepy, unsettling things in this film, and I really loved it. If you're a fan of horror movies, I think you're gonna absolutely love this film. If you like the first Annabelle, you'll like this movie. But if you are skeptical because you hated the first Annabelle film, this is that kind of quality like Conjuring. It's not as good as Conjuring or Conjuring 2, but it's still a very good spooky horror film. It feels like it came out in like the 1980s and stuff. It's a good ghost story, and I really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun with this movie. So yeah, I definitely recommend this movie. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give the movie Annabelle Creation an 8.4 out of 10. So yeah, if you love good spooky horror films, then definitely check this one out. So yeah, that was my review for the movie Annabelle Creation. So in the comment section below, please tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions of Annabelle Creation? And also, what is your favorite movie out of the Conjuring universe? There's 4 films. My favorite still will always be the first Conjuring, but what is your favorite? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please like, subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.